Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is September 28th, 2022, and we are in the New Testament. We're in the book of Luke. We're going to read chapter 19, verse 47 to 2044 today. So this is the Passion Week, is where we are in Luke's Gospel. So this is that last week before Jesus is crucified. He's now in Jerusalem. He just cleanses the temple in yesterday's reading. And today we're getting kind of that last confrontation between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, where they're arguing over laws. And the Pharisees think they've finally figured out how to get Jesus. They're going to hit him with a tax collection, because if Jesus says don't pay taxes, well, then they can turn him right over to the Romans. And if he does say pay taxes, then he's going to lose the people. But Jesus very cleverly switches it around and says, hey, you know what? Give me a coin. Whose picture's on the coin? Oh, it's Caesar's? Well, you know what? Then render unto Caesar's. But you know who's God? God is God. That's all you got to remember. And that kind of shuts the Pharisees up. And then the Sadducees, they want to ask him, they think they've got him figured out, because they want to ask him a ridiculous question about, oh, if my brother's widow's wife marries my uncle's nephew's... A really ridiculous question that shows that they don't quite get it, that they missed the key point, which is, hey, you know what? When you go up to heaven, none of that matters. Okay, God is there, is the God of the living. It's eternal life. You're going to be happy as a clam when you're in heaven. You don't really care about any of that stuff. And then he finishes off asking, how did David? If the Messiah was coming from the line of David, then how does David call him Lord? And that's where we're going to finish with this section. So let's go ahead and we're going to read chapter 19, verse 47 to 2044 today. And he was teaching daily in the temple, but the chief priests, the scribes, and the leaders of the people sought to destroy him, and were unable to do anything, for all the people were very attentive to hear him. Now it happened on one of those days, as he taught the people in the temple and preached the gospel, that the chief priests and the scribes, together with the elders, confronted him, spoke to him, saying, Tell us, by what authority are you doing these things, or who is he who gave you this authority? But he answered and said to them, I also will ask you one thing, and answer me. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or from men? And they reasoned among themselves, saying, If we say from heaven, he will say, Why then did you not believe him? But if we say from men, all the people will stone us, for they are persuaded that John was a prophet. So they answered that they did not know where it was from. And Jesus said to them, Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. Then he began to tell the people this parable. A certain man planted a vineyard, leased it to vine dressers, and went into far country for a long time. Now at vintage time he sent a servant to the vine dressers, that they might give him some of the fruit of the vineyard. But the vine dressers beat him and sent him away empty-handed. Again he sent another servant. They beat him also, treated him shamefully, and sent him away empty-handed. And again he sent a third, and they wounded him also and cast him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, What shall I do? I will send my beloved son. Probably they will respect him when they see him. But when the vine dressers saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. So they cast him out of the vineyard and killed him. Therefore, what will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and destroy those vine dressers and give the vineyard to others. And when they heard it, they said, Certainly not. Then he looked at them and said, What then is this that is written? The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. Whoever falls on that stone will be broken, but on whomever it falls, it will grind into powder. And the chief priests and the scribes that very hour sought to lay hands on him. But they feared the people, for they knew he had spoken this parable against them. So they watched him and sent spies who pretended to be righteous, that they might seize on his words in order to deliver him to the power and the authority of the governor. Then they asked him, saying, Teacher, we know that you say and teach rightly, and you do not show personal favoritism, but teach the way of God in truth. Is it lawful for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But he perceived their craftiness and said to them, Why do you test me? Show me a denarius. Whose image and inscription does it have? They answered and said, Caesar's. And he said to them, Render therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. But they could not catch him in his words in the presence of the people, and they marveled at his answer and kept silent. Then some of the Sadducees who denied that there is a resurrection came to him and asked him, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote to us that if a man's brother dies having a wife, and he dies without children, his brother should take his wife and raise up offspring for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers, and the first took a wife and died without children. And the second took her as a wife, and he died childless. Then the third took her, and in like manner the 7 also. And they left no children and died. Last of all the woman died also. Therefore in the resurrection, whose wife does she become? For all 7 had her as a wife. Jesus answered and said to them, the sons of this age marry and are given in marriage, but those who are counted worthy to attain that age in the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage, nor can they die any more, for they are equal to the angels and are sons of God, being sons of the resurrection. But even Moses showed in the burning bush passages that the dead are raised, when he called the Lord the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. For he is not the God of the dead, but of the living, for all lived in him. And some of the scribes answered and said, Teacher, you have spoken well. But after that they dared not question him any more. And he said to them, How can they say that Christ is the son of David? Now David himself said in the book of Psalms, The Lord said to my Lord, Sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool. Therefore David calls him Lord. How is he then his son? May God bless the reading of the word, and may God bless you. Bye.